It's now my great pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Mr. James Kozlowski. After graduating with an economics degree in 1994 and a dip ed in 1995, James began his teaching career at Sarah Redfern High School. He joined Homebush Boys High in 2001 and became head teacher at Westfield Sports in 2004. In 2010, he was appointed as the deputy principal of Belmore Boys High School, and in 2015, joined Endeavour Sports High School as its principal. Beginning a Master of Educational Management and Leadership while still a deputy principal, he graduated just after becoming principal. In 2018, he was awarded a scholarship to Harvard University by the Harvard Club of Australia and the Public Education Foundation to undertake a week-long leadership course. That same year, James's school was awarded Government Secondary School of the Year at the inaugural Australian Education Awards. In 2019, he became the New South Wales Ambassador for the Cure for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and in 2020, a mentor for the Public Education Foundation. Last year, he was a finalist for the Principal of the Year, Government Secondary, at the Australian Education Awards. I now invite Mr. James Kozlowski to deliver the occasional address.
Presiding Officer, members of the faculty, staff, distinguished guests, graduates and their families and friends. Although I'm not an alumnus of this university, both of my children are currently students here, so I feel the connection. And I can identify with you because many years ago, I began my journey as a teacher, full of enthusiasm, hope, and excitement, believing that I was entering a profession that profoundly influenced society. 25 years later, and now as a principal of 7 years, I remain full of enthusiasm, hope, and excitement. Given that this is the first time I have given an occasional address at a graduation ceremony, I thought I should do some deep research about such speeches. Research that would meet the academic rigours of a university degree. Now, you probably guessed that I Googled it. Honesty is important in education. And the advice varied, but it does appear as though I'm expected to provide words of encouragement and motivation and perhaps some tips for future success. I'm a little worried though, because I believe that this ceremony will be uploaded to the university's YouTube channel, and I can comfortably predict that what I have to say will not go viral. I don't have all the answers to success in education. In fact, the older I get and the more experienced I become, the more I realise I don't know. It's not that my knowledge or understanding has diminished. It's just that society and the world of education are incredibly complex. But before you think, well, what's the point of listening to this guy? Those complexities make education and learning so necessary, so interesting and so motivating. Great teachers and educators are as important and as needed today as they ever were. It also means that with all there is to master as an educator, if you are doing your job well, you should never be bored. In case I run out of time to pass on any words of advice later in my speech, I'm going to throw this thought in now. Surround yourself with good people. Have trusted mentors, and if you're in a position of authority, bring together a team of people who will improve you. Not only will it enhance your individual success, but success is always more enjoyable when it is shared. You can find good mentors in all sorts of places to guide and inspire you. They don't even have to be living. Consider the following words delivered almost 2 centuries ago. Upon the subject of education, not presuming to dictate any plan or system respecting it, I can only say that I view it as the most important subject which we as a people can be engaged in. They were written by perhaps America's greatest president, Abraham Lincoln, nearly 3 decades before beginning his presidency. He was only 23. Lincoln's life has provided me with more inspiration and guidance as a leader than any of the modern day leadership gurus. What resonates for me about Lincoln is his strength in adversity, his resilience, and his strong moral compass. He was also prepared to admit when he was wrong and to learn from his mistakes. Lincoln was an autodidact with no more than a year's worth of formal schooling, and yet it is because of this that I believe he came to understand the transformative power of education. There are times when I think that elements of our society fail to grasp the importance of educators, or they take us for granted. Although, if there are any positives to take out of the pandemic, then I think a greater acknowledgement of the significance of what we do and the skill with which we do it is one of them. A constant refrain of mine when addressing my teachers is to remind them of the importance of what we do. Education is at the foundation of every element of society and every gain within it. Whether we are considering achievements in science, the humanities, or the arts, success is predicated upon the learning that came before it. I have no doubt that behind every great achiever is at least one great teacher. And while we all remember the less than stellar teachers who make for entertaining conversations, the truly good ones have a lifelong influence. And this is particularly in the case of schools in areas of disadvantage, where you might be the most trusted and positive adult influence in a student's life. I have worked as a teacher and school leader at a disparate group of schools: Sarah Redfern, Homebush Boys, Westfield Sports, Belmore Boys, and now Endeavour Sports. I have enjoyed each and have gained valuable experiences that have moulded me as a professional and as a person. I have learned more from the challenges than the successes, and I have made enough mistakes to fill a book. I was not the best teacher. I was not the best head teacher or deputy, and I'm not the best principal. You're allowed to be fallible, as teaching is about relationships we build with other human beings, your students, your colleagues, and parents. And human beings are full of flaws. What I've tried to do is build strong relationships underpinned with respect, trust, and empathy. And I'm going to include a word that doesn't often make motivational speeches: kindness. I'd like to think that I'm a kind leader. I can tell you that I have had an enormous amount of fun throughout my career. I'm constantly telling my staff that they should be enjoying what they do. If not, then something's going wrong. Yes, it is a career that will leave you at times exhausted and frustrated. I may look young to be a principal, but I'm actually 30. There should be many great moments that fill you with a prodigious sense of satisfaction. As graduates of education, you sit before me in a privileged position. You have been given the qualification to take what you have learned and inspire, teach, mentor, and guide our young people. You now have the right to influence their future and that of society. This is a responsibility, but it is also a gift. And using it should bring you great satisfaction and reward. Perhaps there won't be the financial reward that, say, your peers in finance or the law receive, but I guarantee you that there will be an unquantifiable return that only an educator can fully comprehend. In recent years, I have been impressed with the quality of graduates moving into education. A good teacher will treat the role as an important job, but a great teacher will regard it as a vocation. I hope that there are many great teachers in front of me right now. We need you. Congratulations and welcome to the noble profession.
Thanks very much, James, for that wonderful speech. Thank you.